Good afternoon, fellow patriots. This is Matt Shea, and welcome to Patriot Radio, broadcasting live from deep inside the heart of the future Liberty State. Sponsored once again by On Fire Ministries, in the legacy of Dr. Stan Monteith, bringing you the story behind the story and the news behind the news, where it's not about right or left, it's about right and wrong. It's about our hope not being in man, but in Jesus Christ. About not ending in prayer, but moving to action. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Father, deliver us from the evil one.
Welcome to Patriot Radio.
Good afternoon, fellow patriots. And once again, it is me, Megan, bringing you guys today's briefing and lots of information coming to us on the national front. We got some interesting news happening in Russia regarding Trump and Putin. But most pressing, I have a lot of information for you guys about the No Kings rally that they held, I believe October 18th. We had a lot of people down in Spokane making a lot of noise. And I'm going to bring you guys some very interesting information speaking about that. But before we do that, we got some global things we got to touch on. And if you guys would like to have the news before everybody else, in real-time intelligence, please follow us on Telegram, scan the QR code on your screen, or go to patriotradio.us/Telegram to get the news and information before everybody else. Things you're not going to find on your mainstream news networks. And if you guys are reading those articles and you get a little overwhelmed and you need some prayer, we also have a team standing by waiting to pray with you. So scan the QR code on your screen and send us a prayer request, or go to patriotradio.us/prayer so we can partner with you in prayer. We would love to do that. We love it. We love Jesus here at Patriot Radio. We want to pray with you. Now, I'm going to start off this episode by saying, again, I probably won't be doing any of the fronts but I'm a little more organized this time. So we're going more linear. Don't worry, you won't be confused. Going linear, but still less of the fronts, more of the just, we're going to get into it. Okay, starting at the top. Donald Trump released a truth. And he said, numerous of our now great allies in the Middle East and areas surrounding the Middle East have explicitly and strongly with great enthusiasm informed me that they would welcome the opportunity at my request to go into Gaza with a heavy force and straighten our Hamas if Hamas continues to act badly in violation of their agreement with us. The love and spirit for the Middle East has not been seen like this in 1,000 years. It is a beautiful thing to behold. I told these countries and Israel, not yet. There is still hope that Hamas will do what is right. If they do not, an end to Hamas will be fast, furious, and brutal. Somebody call Vin Diesel. Okay? Fast, furious, and brutal. I would like to thank all of these countries that have called to help. I also would like to thank the great and powerful country of Indonesia and its wonderful leader for all of the help that they have shown and given to the Middle East and to the USA. To everyone, thank you for your attention on this matter. He's not messing around anymore. If Hamas does not honor this agreement, I have absolutely no doubt that Donald Trump is going in there with everything that he's got. Everybody that's behind him, he's not messing around anymore. He wants this to stop. All right, moving on. Now, Trump was going to meet with Putin in Budapest, Hungary, but it has been called off. So apparently, peace talks have turned sour. Trump and Putin are no longer going to meet in Hungary. And from OSENT Defender, a little bit more information on that. The Budapest summit between U.S. President Donald J. Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin has been indefinitely postponed after a planning call yesterday between Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov however you say that. The call, which was meant to gauge a potential softening in the Russian position regarding ending the invasion of Ukraine, reportedly did not go well with officials, stating that Rubio saw no change in Russia's maximalist position regarding negotiations, and that he is expected to recommend that next week's meeting between himself and Lavrov not move forward, according to CNN. Now, how much do I believe CNN? I don't know, but this seems like a pretty accurate article. So we're going to keep our eyes on that. But for now, Trump and Putin will not be meeting anymore. Now, continuing on this European front, British forces have deployed to Israel to join a multinational task force that will monitor the fragile ceasefire in Gaza after a request from the United States, according to The Times. A 2-star officer and a small number of military personnel will be based in the country as part of the Civil Military Coordination Center, established and led by the U.S. that will provide logistical support, security, and monitor the ceasefire in Gaza Strip. The 2-star officer will help as a deputy to a commander with the U.S. Armed Forces, expected to help with the flow of humanitarian aid to Palestinians in Gaza. That's a great thing. Good thing. Last time I checked, Britain was going to side with Palestine to be named a state, but I'm glad that they are helping. All right, some interesting news in France. Marine Le Pen set to replace Macron soon. Quote, France will take all necessary steps. Radical mosques will be closed. Hate preachers will be expelled. Salafism and the Muslim Brotherhood will be liquidated. Good. This is what France needs. This is what Europe needs right now. Islam is a stain in their countries right now. It is taking over, and nobody is safe over there, especially the children. There is so much crime going on over there, committed by mostly immigrants, illegals, or legally because their borders are open. So, guys, let's take a note from their book and just get out of ICE's way and let them do their job. Now we're moving more towards national articles. Now, I saw this and I thought this was very interesting. I hadn't heard anything about this, but apparently this is news everywhere. From the Gateway Pundit, the White House slams TMZ report claiming Donald Trump considering commutation, of Sean Diddy Combs, calls it completely fraudulent. Good. I mean, his sentencing was so wild, guys. He got off so easy. I'm thoroughly disappointed in that. A lot of his charges were dropped. Did not like how that went for everybody that witnessed against him. Some good news. The FBI has rescued 5,400 children and 28,000 violent felons arrested in just 7 months. Cash and Dan are tagged in this post to send them a thank you. That is an amazing number. Thank goodness that these children are being rescued. I thought I'd add a little bit of a positive sprinkle in there so you guys can know that not everything is bad and not everything is doom and gloom. There are some good things happening in the world, like children being rescued, violent felons being arrested. Thank you to the FBI for that. Now, coming to us about President Trump. President Trump in the Rose Garden just told Democrats he will never cave to Chuck Schumer on the federal shutdown. No taxpayer dollars for illegals ever. I want to just say from the beginning, our message has been very simple. We will not be extorted on this crazy plot of theirs. We're not doing that. They are obstructionists. Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats need to vote for the clean bipartisan CR and reopen our government. You know, I don't want my taxpayer dollars, my hard-earned money, going to people who illegally immigrated to this country. I don't. I don't see how that's fair. I don't see how that makes any sense. Make it make sense. To me, a lot of the liberal ideology, I sit there, I listen to it, I try and understand their viewpoint, and then I go, how does that, in any fairness, to anybody who's a working class citizen, how does that make sense in any realm? It just doesn't. And after reading some of the Communist Manifesto and some of Karl Marx's other writings, I'm beginning to learn that it's actually just general insanity, and that people who want other people's money to go towards them living a non-working life and they want the rich people's money to go to the people who don't work at all. They're kind of just jealous of successful people in a way. And here's the thing, we live in a world and in an economy where if you think of something that someone else hasn't thought of and you find a way to invent it and sell it and market it and get it into stores, you too can be an incredibly successful person. And my question is, if you happen to think of something and invent something for the liberals anyway, who want communism in this country, if you happen to invent and think of something that no one else has thought of, and then all of a sudden you become super duper rich and you have everything that you've ever wanted, would you actually want the government to take all of your money away and all of your possessions away and give it away to people who didn't invent your thing and actually didn't do anything to help you? Would you want that? I really don't see how a logical mind could want that. Anyway, sorry, that's just what I've been thinking of recently, trying to make sense of the Communist Manifesto, because to me, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, sorry, moving on. Coming to us from Laura Loomer, a public safety alert. Guys, this is actually crazy. Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood affiliates from Americans for Justice in Palestine are currently roaming around Washington, D.C. near the Capitol. They just tried to enter the Capitol Rotunda and were turned away by Capitol Police. Okay, good. Now they're headed for the congressional offices to meet with members of Congress. These are very dangerous people. Proceed with caution if you see them. Many of them have open ties to Islamic terror organizations. They become agitated when confronted by Laura Loomer's investigators after we followed their buses to the Supreme Court today. Guys, this is not a joke anymore. People are really out here just roaming around, telling you why they're there. I don't understand. Here's something I find interesting, is people call Donald Trump Hitler, and he just negotiated a peace deal to free Jews, to help the Jewish people. And we're saying, okay, literally Hitler, who exterminated the Jews, guys, literally Hitler just made a peace deal to help the Jews. So make it make sense. How can you compare Donald Trump to Hitler when he's actually helping the Jewish people? Anyway, just a thought for you to process. Coming to us from the Patriot Oasis, Janine Pirro, I hope that's how you say that, sorry, reveals that the Biden prosecutor for Washington, D.C. didn't prosecute 65% of the crimes in D.C. She has prosecuted 92% of the crimes in D.C. She's calling for young criminals to be held accountable for what they're doing. Because here's the thing. If someone commits a crime and they don't get punished for it, the likelihood of them actually committing that crime again is so much higher. Just like a child. If a child does something wrong and you don't punish them for it, they are so much more likely to do it again. If you do not have discipline, if you do not have order, they are so much more likely to do it again. Let's say your child is saying bad words. If you don't actually have a consequence for them saying bad words, do you know how much more likely they are to say it again? A lot. If we just laugh, slap them on the wrist a little bit and go, oh, it's okay, sweetie. Don't worry about it. You can have another chance if you're feeding into it. Tell me how that makes sense. It doesn't. There's no justice in the justice system, and that is our problem. Okay. Just in, Antifa has created a hit list of journalists. Hello. Hold the phone. Hit list of journalists, live streamers, and conservative activists who are posted on flyers outside the Portland ICE facility. The flyers urge their protester comrades to be on the lookout for the individuals mentioned. Those featured on the flyers include journalists who attended the Antifa roundtable at the White House, such as myself. And there is Jonathan Cho, Nick Shirley, more independent journalists, streamers, and activists. Guys, they're not kidding anymore. After Charlie Kirk, we have to take these things seriously. They are actually calling for the death of everybody who is against them. And this is dangerous. It is dangerous to now be a independent journalist and go out and report on things, interview people, just ask questions. They're going to kill you now. So everyone be on the lookout. Now, this happened around the time of the No Kings. And I really want to get into the No Kings thing. So the No Kings website posted a video of the success of the No Kings rallies a few days ago. And if we could just pull up that video and just start showing it. So it's so interesting to me. The music that they're using in this video is like corporate music, like something you'd see for like a corporate infomercial. And it's like light and airy and, oh, look at all this. Look at all the support we had. And look at how peaceful it was and how successful it was. And look at how many people hate Donald Trump. And yay, we did it, guys. We're wearing piss yellow. And we look amazing. Look at how many people are out in Boston. Oh my gosh. Look at all these old people. The hippies who never grew up. Look at them. We love you. Okay. Now that we've seen enough of that, thank you, No Kings, for that. Donald Trump had a response for them. A huge thank you to all the No Kings protesters yesterday. I was very concerned. A king was trying to take my place. But thanks to your tireless efforts, I am still your president. Great job, everyone. I was worried there for a second, guys, that we didn't have an elected official. I was worried there that he didn't win the popular vote and the majority vote and the electoral votes. Guys, I was worried King Charles was coming to the U.S. Okay, here's what I wanted to talk about. What is a king? So we're saying no kings. What actually is a king? What is the definition of a king? A king is the male ruler of an independent state, especially one who inherits the position by birth, by right of birth. Okay, so Donald Trump was elected. He wasn't born into this position. So therefore, he is not a king. And they are blatantly anti-fascist. So we could get into what fascism is, actually. Let's look at the definition of fascism. It is an authoritarianism, ultranationalist political ideology characterized by dictatorial power, foreseeable suppression of an opposition, often fueled by violence. Okay. Trump's not a dictator. He just has conservative policies and actually enforces them. He's not using violence or killing an entire ethnic group like Hitler. So if he was like Hitler, instead of asking the illegal immigrants to deport themselves and deporting them because they're here illegally, he would actually just exterminate them, which is what Hitler did. I don't know if we forgot that, but he actually just killed a bunch of Jews. He didn't ask them to leave. He just actually killed them. So I would like to differentiate that. And after that very lovely, peaceful video that we got from the No Kings actual website, let's take a look at some pictures and videos that were actually taken from the No Kings protest. So from Betty Johnson, the so-called No Kings protest wasn't a protest. It was a coordinated and corruptly funded mass call for political murder. The crowd was filled with left-wing extremists openly calling for the murder of President Trump and celebrating the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now, this lady in that picture, she is going viral for literally reenacting the murder of Charlie Kirk, shooting at her neck. This man right here, this old man in that photo, is actually dressed up in the exact outfit that Charlie Kirk's assassin was wearing. And if we go to the next thread, when people show you who they really are, believe them. The next slide in that thread, it says a man dressed as Charlie Kirk's assassin. A woman reenacting the moment Charlie was shot in the neck. A protester saying, "I'm glad Hitler is dead," when asked about Charlie. The crowd singing Bella Ciao, the same phrase engraved on the bullets used by Charlie's assassin. Signs mocking Trump and Erica's injuries saying, which heals faster, Trump's ears or Erica's heart? A billboard honoring Charlie Kirk destroyed and covered with "Smash Fascism." This isn't free speech. This was a display of pure hatred and a call to murder, is what Benny Johnson says. These people are dangerous and their threats need to be taken seriously. I don't know if you guys know this, but Benny Johnson's family was just recently threatened, death threat, and they found them and they arrested them because we're taking this seriously now. They're not peacefully protesting and saying, oh, we don't like Trump. No, they're literally calling for the murder of innocent people that they do not agree with. This is a free country. You have a right to protest, but you are literally calling for violence. You are literally calling for an uprising to uproot the Constitution of the United States of America. You don't have a right to do that. As soon as it turns into a valid threat, it's no longer legal, guys. I don't know where we're going with this. And I have a really interesting video. If we want to talk about what these people actually believe, here's a video from the survivors.us going around asking the No Kings people, the No Kings protesters, if they believe in human rights for all. So if we could go ahead and roll that clip so we can hear what they actually believe.
Human rights, what do you think about them?
We're in favor of them.
For everybody?
Yes.
How about the unborn? Do you support human rights?
Yes, of course.
For everybody?
Yes, of course.
Even people in the womb?
Well,
So
it
okay.
all depends on...
So notice how they believe in human rights for all until it comes to the most innocent form of life ever. The most innocent form of life ever created, the unborn lives that are safe in their mother's womb. So we believe in human rights for everyone. Illegal aliens, we believe in human rights for women. We believe in human rights for men, children, everybody except for the unborn. I don't know how much more clearly evil you can get. That is such an unfortunate lie that we have been fed, that unborn children are not human beings. But it's actually scientifically proven that life begins at conception. There is a flash of light when a child is conceived. And an innocent child, no matter how they were conceived, is never at fault. So how can you say that it's right to murder an innocent child under any circumstance? And I'm not saying that's not a difficult decision to make, because I think a lot of women have been in really difficult situations where we've been confronted with the possibility. But God would never, ever murder an unborn child. That is so not something that Jesus Christ would stand for. And it just breaks my heart that so many Christians even are on the fence about this. They're, that they think, oh, I'm pro-life, but I'm not going to tell anybody what they can do and not do with their body. No, we're called to stand up against evil. We're called to be different from the world. So it's our job as Christians to look evil in the face and say, no, that's not right. And we're called to be different. And guys, it's time to stand up and have our voices be loud about this. Coming to us from the Daily Wire, we have some people going around and asking how Donald Trump is a king. So if we could play that clip, I have it pulled up there, and we can hear what these people actually have to say.
Here at the No Kings protest, and we're asking all the important questions.
Such as, if Trump was elected, how exactly is he a king?
Because he is trying to take control of everything. Like his checks and balances are not working, so he is just trying to completely disregard the Constitution.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of amendments have been kind of overcome, like in a way that they're not supposed to be.
Yeah, which amendment specifically?
The whole
first one.
Yeah, the first one.
Trying to take away our
Freedom of protesting.
I would say that. Okay. Freedom of protesting, girl? Come on now. What are you out there doing? Come on, girl. What are you out there doing? Are you protesting? Are you holding a sign at a rally? I think you're protesting. How is your freedom of speech being infringed upon? You're literally holding a sign that says, I don't like Donald Trump. You're saying, I don't like the elected leader of my country. If you lived in a fascist country, in a dictatorship, bro, they would kill you. They would kill you. Honey. Ooh, I don't like it when people call me honey, but I'm going to do it to her. Honey, find the words, because I don't think you even know what you stand for, which is hilarious to me. And something that I found interesting was what Glenn Beck was saying about these No Kings protesters. and they're talking about how they are against billionaires and they are against the rich. But guess who the No Kings organization is funded by? Billionaires, millionaires, and these huge corporations. And in this video, he talks about how it's their goal to basically get them to hate freedom. And whenever they actually figure out, we want to overthrow this government because they don't like freedom. So we're going to get you to hate your freedom. And then when there's an emergency, we're going to come in and these are the actual kings that have been funding you behind the scenes, and then they're going to take over. And it's just so interesting to me that these people, no kings this, no kings that. But when the government completely shut down and told you couldn't go shopping, that was fine. When they told you that you had to wear a mask and stand 6 feet away from everybody, that was fine. We didn't complain about that. When they told you weren't an essential worker and you lost your job, that was fine. Nobody complained about that because we were getting money from the government and made us lazy. When they told us that we needed to get 1 million billion vaccines in order to keep our jobs, that was fine. And it was a DNA-based vaccine that actually was super unhealthy, and they said this will keep you from getting sick. This will keep you from spreading the sickness. Well, actually, it'll 90% keep you from getting sick. Oh, actually, maybe 75% it'll keep you from getting sick. You know what? Actually, this actually doesn't do anything to keep you from contracting or spreading coronavirus. That was fine. For years, that was fine. But then Donald Trump comes in and says, hey, actually, no more illegal immigration, no more money going to stupid organizations like transgender children, cutting off the breasts of little girls and mutilating our children and letting these illegal immigrants roam and steal these jobs and harm our people, and drugs just running rampant in our cities. No more of that. Okay, where's everybody crying about what happened during COVID? And then now, just because we have somebody actually doing something that's healthy for our country, now we're protesting. Now we're saying no kings. And then it just doesn't make sense, because in my brain, in the way that my brain works, it just doesn't make sense to me anyway, as somebody who is a Bible believing Christian, somebody who believes that God created nations, God created government, and he gives, it just doesn't make sense to me. And with that little rant, guys, that's the briefing today. Thanks for joining me again here on Patriot Radio, guys. I always love giving you the briefing Megan style. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do.